Did you think that those leaked specs on the Panasonic GH5 Mark II, leaked yesterday by Nakashita, did you think they were false? Well, think again. We now have the full leak specs from, again, Nakashita on the Panasonic GH5 Mark II. And it confirms some of the things that we hoped wouldn't be in the camera. This and more after the intro. Thanks for tuning in to The Ordinary Filmmaker. Just before I get to today's exciting news, or disappointment, please like this video and subscribe. Now, the more likes a video gets like this one, the more likely I'm to publish more of these types of videos. And one last thing before I get to the news. I just launched 2 weeks ago the Night Challenge, which concludes this Friday. Shoot a video at night and you could win a brand new Xiong Weebill-S and an Ordinary Filmmaker baseball cap. Contest ends again May 14th at midnight. Watch this video here for more details. And now for the news. The Panasonic GH6. So let's do a quick recap. According to Yamane-san, in a video last year, he said, the GH6, stay tuned, letting us believe that something was coming pretty quickly. And based on what we had heard, it was supposed to come out last year, but they delayed it a full year until this year. And then, of course, earlier this year, we got, again, a communication from Yamane-san saying that, yes, it's coming in 2021. But he made us believe that it was the GH6 that was coming. Well, that's not the case. These are the full details. It's got video modes, it's got photo modes, it's got everything in it. And this camera is going to be called the GH5 Mark II. And it is going to be capped at 4K 60, but that's going to be 420 10-bit at 200 megabits. Now, if you drop down and shoot 4K 30, you could actually get 422 10-bit and all-I up to 400 megabits per second. So it's a much more capable video camera. Now again, these are specs. I like to see the end result because you can post great specs and then the video can turn out to be, well, it could be cropped, right? It could be binned really badly. It could be soft. Specs by themselves don't tell us the full story. We do need to wait and see how this camera actually performs. It could be a huge and significant upgrade over the Mark I, but only time will tell. The one thing that really bothered me, and I jumped right down to the bottom to see this, the new autofocus system isn't the new autofocus system. It's the same old depth from defocus, contrast detect autofocus system, and yes, in video, there is no phase detect autofocus. Any update to the GH5 is a welcomed update. The GH5 was a very, very good camera, and everybody, almost everybody will say that the GH5 is an awesome camera, but one thing, and that's its autofocus system. And I know many of you can shoot in manual mode, but you see, in a dwindling market where Panasonic has 5% global market share in interchangeable lens cameras, autofocus is one of those things that the ordinary filmmaker and photographer wants in their camera, and they want an effective, trustworthy system. With multiple cameras out there, from Canon and Sony, two of the leaders with their autofocus system, and of course there's others too, having an autofocus system that doesn't hit it all the time, well, why would you go with one that doesn't when you've got plenty of others that will? And so that's the real frustrating thing about this camera. Panasonic said last year that they were taking a strategic look at their camera offerings and focusing on video. Now, while I don't doubt that this camera is going to produce really good video, whether you're shooting in long GOP IPB or whether you're shooting in all-I, whether you're shooting in H.265 or not, I do believe it's going to produce really good video. But for the ordinary filmmaker that wants to produce detailed 4K video or 1080, that's going to be shooting their son's football game, basketball, that's going to be shooting their travel montage, their videos as they travel around. It's one of those things that's going to be nagging you in the back of the mind. The last thing you want to do is spend $10,000 plus on a vacation with your family and get back and find out the video for some scenes just didn't work out. And yes, I know, you can review while you're out in the field, but you see, it's enough effort. For those of you who actually don't do a lot of filming, when you're out there with your family and you're filming, you're focused more on the filming, you're less in the moment. And if you're constantly having to double check your work to see if you got it right, and then of course you're having your family do a take 2 or 3 or 4, it's no longer a vacation. So this, I think, is this is not a good thing for Panasonic. Yes, the faithful, and there are many out there, are going to like this camera because it's going to be an improvement over the GH5, but I think even them are going to be disappointed, and this is what I think is happening. Panasonic, while they do produce really good cameras with a lot of good capabilities, autofocus being the one that isn't very good, they now have a full frame line. There's the S5 series, there's the S1 series. I can't see them really putting an awful lot of really great capabilities into the GH5 Mark II or the GH6 if it ever comes out. But I think if we're getting the Mark II, that's kind of telling us that the GH6, it's definitely not happening this year, if at ever. Maybe they'll just stick with the GH5, go Mark II, Mark III, Mark IV, Mark V, and, you know, and close up shop if they get that far. I'm really disappointed by this. I'm frustrated by it. And I get it. You've got the S1 and the S5, and, you know, that's, if they do release 8K, that's where you're going to see it. The S1H is their flagship video stills hybrid camera. And again, I expect to see 8K there, but no 4K 120. You know what? If they had to fix the autofocus system, I think this would have made this a huge hit. The end result? I don't think this is going to be a big seller. I don't think it's going to fly off the shelves. I think a lot of people are going to look at it and say, wow, it's got a lot of great video capabilities, but then look over to Sony and Canon and go, I can do better. And I can get better value for the money. And on that terrible disappointment, let's take a quick look behind the scenes. I want to remind you that the night challenge concludes this Friday night. The winner will get an ordinary Filmmaker baseball cap. Now, I'm wearing, it's the same one, and a Xiong Weebill-S gimbal. Really good prizes. However, it does have to be shot at night, hence the name Night Challenge, and it has to be at least 30 seconds long. So please watch this video here for all the rules and details. There are no blackout restrictions. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you're eligible to submit. Now, this morning I did get an entry, and it was less than 30 seconds, and it was shot during the day. And you know who you are. Maybe it was maybe you were just testing to see if it uploaded properly, but sadly that video is going to be disqualified because it doesn't meet the basics. I mean, it's not 30 seconds long at least, and it wasn't shot at night. But please, you've got till Friday at midnight. That's Friday midnight Eastern Daylight Time. So get out there and film. Try it. You never know, you could win. And right now, I've only got 3 eligible spots. So even if you go out there and just shoot 30 seconds at night, just with no edits, nothing, you're going to win an ordinary Filmmaker baseball cap. That's how easy it is to win right now. I don't know why I have so few entries. You know, this far along in the spring challenge, I had about 12 entries. Okay, I understand if you're in the northern latitudes like where I live, because it doesn't really get dark till almost 10 o'clock at night. While the sun sets right around 8:15, there's that twilight that continues on for at least another hour or so. But that's okay. If it's mostly dark, get out there, shoot, upload your video, and have your chance of winning an ordinary Filmmaker baseball cap and the Xiong Weebill-S gimbal. And there's one more thing I do want to talk to you about. YoloLiv, you'll remember that I was sent this back in back in December, and I had problems with it. I couldn't get it to work with an R system camera. And I couldn't get a hold of the company. We had trouble reaching them, and I tried many times over the past few months. And then finally I posted an update on the video saying, look, I think it's great. I talked about all the wonderful capabilities that I was hoping on testing, because this thing is truly remote. You can take this outside, you can take this anywhere where you've got a cell signal, and you can be live. And that's the power of this thing. It turns you into a mobile news crew, or a mobile crew of any type. You ever see those vans going around town with a TV station logo on the side and antennas on the roof? Well, now all you need is a small box. And do I have the box here? No, it's upstairs because I'm still in the process of testing it, working it out. But I got it working last night. I was able to upload a video or broadcast a video unlisted to my YouTube channel in 1080, and it looked sharp. It looked good. So this Friday on my Ask Me Anything Q&A live show, Friday Night Live video, I'm going to be using the YoloLiv, and I'm going to be using a SIM card. That's right, I'm going to be using a SIM card. I'm going to try this outside, weather permitting, and we're going to use a SIM card. Now, if I'm inside, I'm going to have to use Wi-Fi because, well, cell signals don't work very well indoors, and I don't want any dropped frames to be any sort of indication that the YoloLiv isn't performing well. And when I film outside, I'm going to use my backyard, and hopefully the signal is going to be good enough. And I'll have you guys help me out. If it looks like I'm dropping a lot of frames, I'll check the cell signal. I do have a lot of trees in my backyard, but the leaves haven't fully come out yet, so I should still have a pretty good signal. So I'm excited to try that out. I'm going to do a live broadcast on Friday, as I just said, and then I'll follow up with a full review, because I think this is one of those live streaming boxes that has the potential to disrupt things a little bit. ATM Mini is a great unit, but you pretty well need to be in a studio in some place where you've got shelter, where you've got network cables, you need a good signal. And Wi-Fi outside of your studio isn't going to be very effective once you get past about 30 feet, not if you're trying to broadcast a good quality signal. So I think that ability to be able to use the cellular signal, and basically it sits on top of the camera just like my Ninja 5 does. It's about the same size as the Ninja 5. I can use multiple inputs. I can take my video logo and put it on the SD card, and I can cue that as a video source. It just has an awful lot of options, and I think once I've used it a bit, it's going to be pretty easy to use. But I'm going to use it a few times. I'm going to try broadcasting unlimited, or sorry, not unlimited, unlisted, and I'm going to try a few live streams before I do my final video. It's like the R5. When I first started using it, I made a lot of mistakes, and the videos that I produced with the R5 back in July and August and even September of last year wasn't a true reflection of how good the R5 was. Whereas the content I'm producing now is a much better reflection of how good the R5 is. And it's the same thing with live streaming. It's a completely different genre. It uses completely different equipment. And even the audio, I've found a way to get the audio better. So it has an audio in on the top. And what I've been able to do is, using an extension cord, take my Sennheiser MKE 400 and plug it in. And I've got a stand for that. And the audio sounded better than what I was producing last week. So I'm really excited from a technology point of view to see how this performs this coming Friday at 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win 2 Angelbird 128GB AV Pro MK2 V90 SD cards and a dual UHS-2 card reader, also from Angelbird. Or you could also win a Ulanzi LED light package with accent lights, an underwater light, and various other flat panel lights that you can use for lighting your subject, or as a pretty solid starter kit for someone starting their own channel. And if you do want to help support my channel, please use my affiliate links for B&H and Amazon, and consider buying an ordinary Filmmaker baseball cap like this one, they're the same, for $34.99 at ordinaryfilmmaker.com. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon.